I'll be waiting for you.
Hey guys, what's happening? EATER here with Film Comics Explained, and today we'll be taking a closer look at the Soul Eater, one of the many creepy monsters featured in the outstanding X-Files television series. Appearing in Season 8 in an episode titled The Gift, the Soul Eater was a being said to be from Native American folklore. According to legends dating back over hundreds of years, the Soul Eaters, also known as sin catcher shamans, were known to gravitate towards sick people, though it's not immediately known why. Like the Mr. Chuckleteeth episode, which I've also covered on this channel and will leave links to below, the people that inhabited the town in which these monsters lived in were often shown to be more monstrous than the creatures themselves. In fact, just as we'll see from this episode, the creature was actually a reflection of the sickness and evil deeds of the townsfolk. Now, the episode, which is set roughly a year after Mulder's disappearance, features the persistent Agent Doggett, who attempts to retrace the last known whereabouts of the missing agent. The episode begins in the quiet town of Squamish, Pennsylvania, where a man whose face is hidden to the camera is seen driving up towards a house that had an ominous symbol painted on the door in blood. Upon entering, he sees a couple in the corner, along with a humanoid creature near them, which leads him to fire 3 shots at the monster. The man then walked back towards his car to reveal that it was Fox Mulder that fired the shots. Investigating a possible lead into Mulder's disappearance, Doggett visits Squamish after finding out that Mulder had been there in the spring of 2000, searching for something to cure the terminal brain disease he'd received as a result of his exposure to an alien artifact. Upon arriving, Doggett is immediately informed by the local sheriff that Mulder was indeed there the previous year, investigating a missing persons case involving Marie Hangmule, a woman who didn't end up being missing as she hadn't actually left her home. Discovering that there was no official missing persons report, Sheriff Frey then admitted that Mulder had been contacted by Marie's worried sister and personally came to the Hangmules without contacting the local police. In a flashback, it's also revealed that Marie's sister had convinced Mulder of the existence of a creature that lived in the woods, and when he asked Marie about it, she looked quite worried about his line of questioning. Arriving at the family residence under the escort of Sheriff Frey, Doggett interrogated the pair and discovered that Marie was suffering from terminal renal failure. He also noticed 3 gunshot holes that had been plastered over recently, which he was able to later match to a gun that Mulder had hidden under his sink. After doing some detective work, Doggett was also able to discover that a transient had been shot and murdered the night of Mulder's disappearance, leading him to believe that Mulder had shot the man to protect Marie. But when he arrived at the supposed grave of the unknown, the site had been dug up and all that remained were the symbols that had been painted at the Hangmule home. Later that night, the citizens of Squamish, including members of the local police, showed up at a cabin in the woods, demanding that Marie's sister send the creature out, and though it attempted to escape, it was eventually caught in netting and dragged to a truck by a group of men. The captured creature was then brought back to the Hangmules, and after being released into the home, we saw it feeding on Marie while her husband looked on.
Hangmule says his wife must have coughed up the blood. He insists he didn't harm her.
Of course he says that.
Maybe he didn't.
By this time, Doggett was able to convince Skinner that Mulder had shot someone or something attempting to protect Marie, leading the 2 agents to return to the Hangmule home, where they found Paul cleaning up her blood. With no sign of Marie's body, the forensics team were able to locate the symbol from earlier, leading the agents to contact the lone gunman for assistance, who explained that it was a symbol for healing, usually associated with North American shaman. The symbol used to be placed on doors of sick people as a request for help, after which the shaman, also known as the Soul Eater, would minister the sick and consume their illnesses. Meanwhile, deep underground, the creature begins regurgitating the liquid remains of Marie into a person-shaped mold. Doggett suggests to Skinner that Mulder had shot someone to protect Hangmule from the man who was supposed to be in that grave, but after meeting Marie's sister, she convinces him that Mulder wasn't actually trying to save Marie, but was instead trying to free the creature from a life of pain and misery. The reason for this was because every time the Soul Eater attempted to heal the sick, it would literally consume the person in their sickness before vomiting them out in perfect health, and this is confirmed by Doggett's eventual discovery of Marie under her sister's home, who appears to be in perfect health. The agent then begins to realize that the reason the creature looked like a monster was due to the combined malignancies it had consumed in its lifetime, healing an ungrateful town that did nothing but use and abuse it. Deciding to spare the Soul Eater from the life of pain it had been forced to endure, Doggett attempted to take it away from the town, only to be shot and killed in a scuffle with the sheriff, after which he was promptly buried. But luckily for the agent, who soon awakens in the tunnels from earlier to find the Soul Eater in its final act had consumed his death and cured him, and as a result had also been allowed to die.
It took your death. You freed it.
This is another fantastic episode from The X-Files, which subverted our expectations of creature archetypes to present one of the saddest X-Files stories involving pain and suffering. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks to all of you guys who requested we take a look at the Soul Eater featured in The X-Files. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content, and if there's anything else you'd like to request, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. EATER here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
To understand what this thing is, you have to understand what it can do. Its gift. People hate it because they need it.
You care for this man
Someone always has.
because you believe it. That it can cure people's sickness.